Hello everyone, it's DuckFairy07. Today I'm playing DIMIR Sneaky Nightmare. Okay, so this is DIMIR deck trying to use Chthonian Nightmare to utilize Satoru, try to draw a bunch of cards with it, and Psychic Frog, discarding Bloodghasts and Sneaky Snackers on Frog. Really make you very easy to bring those creatures back to play. If you have Satoru on the field, you get to draw a bunch of cards on Satoru abilities. Okay, so Sneaky Snacker is a card from MH3 that says whenever you draw your third card in a turn, return it from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So it triggers Satoru when it enters the battlefield. It's very easy to bring it back from the graveyard. In this deck we got especially designed to bring it immediately back is Champion of Wits. When Champion of Wits enters the battlefield, it draws 2, immediately returns Sneaky Snacker from your graveyard to the battlefield. Champion of Wits is a 3-drop that works great in this deck because it allows you to bring it back non-stop from the graveyard into play, and you can cycle the cards in your hand, discard the Bloodghasts, the Snackers, the extra Nightmares, the lands, whatever you don't need, and help you find good cards. Also, it's pretty cool with Not Dead After All, because if you play Not Dead After All on it, then sack it, it comes back as a 3-2. So you draw a 3 cards, then discard a 2. That is pretty sweet. Okay, also having a Sneaky Snackers and the Champion of Wits in the main enable you to play Flare of Denial in the sideboard, as now there is like 8 plus 6, 14 blue creatures in deck. So we got to play both Flare of Malice in the main and Flare of Denial in the side, which is really important to fight all those Ruby Storm decks kind of getting popular, and a bunch of combo decks being played at the moment, like Belcher. A lot of people trying Belcher with new lands. Okay, so that is it. To be able to fit these, I trimmed some of the cards, like 1 Bowmasters, 1 Bloodghast, and 1 Not Dead After All. I would like to play 4 of each of these cards, but I think having 3 of them is pretty good too. And the Sneaky Snacker and the Champion of Wits have been amazing payoffs, amazing targets for Nightmare Champion, and the Sneaky Snacker has been so easy to enable that it was a great card to play with Satoru, and having access to Flare of Denial post board has also been like incredibly powerful and important. Okay, so before on the sideboard we also have a subtlety, because I have a lot of blue cards in the main, so we get to support both Flare and the subtlety with the Sneaky Snacker, Champion of the Wits package, in addition to Satoru and Psychic Frog. Okay, so very happy with the Snackers and the Champions. The deck also plays Grief Scam, of course. You can scam Grief and also later use Nightmare to bring it back when you save extra energy to do so. And that's it. Okay, so before we go to the gameplay, just want to remind you, if you want to support my channel and also need a cool token solution for your paper collection, go out to the cardelc.com, make a purchase, claim those tokens. They're pretty good option for your paper collection if you're have some drawing skills and you need a lot of tokens and need to change them frequently. I believe this is a very good option for players like me, who always bring multiple decks of each format to the FNM. Okay, so that is it. Let's now go check out the gameplay. Okay, so I only played a single league with this deck, and I really like this build. Okay, so here I keep Satoru with Grief, and opponent attacks with Six Spear. It's obviously burn. Opponent goes for Lava Spike and plays Goblin Guide, attacks for a lot. So I'm now on 12. I get to play Satoru here and Grief, discard Lightning Helix. I leave them with Searing Blaze in their hand. They don't have land at the moment for Searing Blaze, but they play Searing Blaze anyway just to get rid of my Satoru. So I go for a Snacker here just to block the Six Spear. Opponent tries to blaze it, but I use Not That After All to bring it back. So next turn I can use the Nightmare to bring back Satoru. Then this leaves me with additional energy, and I can also bring back Grief to discard the last card in their hand, which was Skullcrack. Okay, so here opponent brings back Eidolon. I attack them to 9 life. Opponent goes with both creatures. I play Bowmasters to kill the Eidolon and jump the Swift Spear. Now I'm on 4. And opponent plays Lava Spike. I'm on 1. I attack them to 6 and play the Champion. Discard 2 lands, trigger the Sneaky Snacker. Should have played Satoru first, and yeah, but it's okay. It doesn't really matter, because if my opponent draws a burn spell, I am dead. But that doesn't happen, and I was able to kill their blocker and go in for lethal damage. So that is game 1 against Burn. Let's check out game 2. Okay, so in the game 2, as you can see, I just trimmed a couple of cards, one Bloodghast, one Nightmare, one Champion of Wits, and one Bogart Troller to fit in a Flare of Denials. Flare of Denials is just a great addition for this matchup. Really important piece which can help you stabilize. Okay, so unfortunately I was struggling with mana here, and finally I find a second land to play my Psychic Frog. Opponent was also struggling with lands, and Psychic Frog is one of the best cards in the Burn matchup because it's pretty large, making it pretty hard for them to kill it. Okay, so I pump my frog here, draw a card, and I play another frog. And with Sneaky Snacker in hand, I can now discard the Snacker, attack with both frogs and just bring it back immediately. So I go for Satoru, play the Survey Land, and I attack with both frogs, trigger Sneaky Snacker, draw a card with Satoru, find a black card, pitch cast Grief, trigger Satoru again, discard Lightning Bolt from their hand. They're now on 6, and I play a double Nightmare, pump my Psychic Frogs, and now I bring back the Sneaky Snacker again, triggering Satoru, going for the Grief, and discarding all in their hand except Searing Blaze. So yeah, opponent only now has Searing Blaze and 2 mana, and I have lethal for the next turn. So that is match against Burn. Let's check out match 2. Kind of weird matchups in this league. Second match was also against Burn. Okay, so here opponent starts with Goblin Guide. I go for the Stitcher Suppliers, pass the turn holding Flare of Malice. Okay, so a lot of Burn, to be honest, in the leagues at the beginning of MH3. I'm guessing people don't know what to play and expect some players to play weird stuff. So I kind of wanted to Goblin Guide to survive, so I block the Spear and then cast the Flare, kind of forcing them to sack the Spear. Okay, I play the Psychic Frog. For a blocker here, attack, draw a card, opponent plays a Boros Charm, and another guide goes in with both creatures. I block one, pump Psychic Frog, discarding a card here. So I go down to 7. Opponent plays Lava Spike and passes the turn. Okay, so I go in with double Frog, trigger the Sneaky Snacker, and play the Supplier plus a Champion of Wits, and bring back Bloodghast, holding a Flare of Malice, but the opponent has a double burn spell here to finish things up. So that is win in game 1 for burn. Let's check out game 2. As you can see, again, just trimming 4 cards, 1 Troller, 1 Champion, 1 Sneaky Snacker, 1 Bloodghast to fit in 4 Flare of Denials. Flare of Denials is just very good here. Okay, so I go for the Grief, take their 1 drops, Guide and Bolt. Okay, opponent has Skullcrack, Shard Volley, Exquisite Firecraft. I go in with Stitcher Suppliers, trying to find that second land. I was not able to get it, and here actually my opponent tries to kill Blaze my Stitcher Supplier, but I pitchcast Subtlety and then Flare the Searing Blaze. Okay, now I draw Not Dead After All, and I'm still just attacking with Stitcher Supplier, and the opponent going for the Firecraft. And now my opponent is on 3. It's a 3-turn clock with Stitcher Supplier. If they try to kill it, I have Not Dead After All, but here I find Grief, and this means I have lethal for the next turn. In response, opponent plays a double burn spell, and I'm now on 4, so their hope is to draw the Boros Charm. They didn't get it, so I got the win there. So let's check out game 3. The Sneaky Snackers and the Champion of Wits have felt like extremely good in this list. I'm so happy with them. Okay, so I got Supplier, I got the Frog. Sneaky Snacker works very well with Frog too. You can discard it, and then Frog helps to bring it back. A Champion of Wits, getting it back immediately is pretty sweet in a list like this. That's trying to just find the relevant stuff like Nightmare, like Satoru, some really strong cards there. Okay, so I decide to go for a Survey Land. Just discard land on Psychic Frog, start drawing cards there, and I draw into Flare of Denial, so if really needed I can sack the Frog for Flare, but I don't really want to do that. So I just hold the Bowmaster and hope to be able to use Flare on my turn. I go for Bowmasters here to block the Swift Spear. Opponent sacks their land on a Shard Volley. So now I jump the Swift Spear, and I discard the Sneaky Snacker, and I go for the Champion of Wits. I discard 2 cards there, trigger the Sneaky Snacker. Sneaky Snacker comes back in. I attack for 4 damage. Now I can pitchcast Grief and hold a Flare of Denial. So I go for it. I also have Champion of Wits here as a blocker, and the Flare of Denial as insurance. So yeah, opponent here sacks their last land on Shard Volley, leaving me on 1 life, but that is not enough. Okay, so I discard 2 cards and I find a lethal on the next turn with the Frog. So that is a match against another match against Burn. Okay, so let's check out match 3. so match 3 I was playing against a really interesting Blackburn build. Of course we all know that Black got a new powerful card, Necro, what is it called? Necro Dominance or something like that. Okay, so opponent and all the life gain that Blackburn plays, like Gaunty Machinations, Soul Spike, just work very well with these cards. Okay, so I attack for a 6 there, attacking Sorin 2. Opponent kills my Satoru, I have another one. They play Necro Dominance, drawing a bunch of cards, but that is not enough to survive the turn. I have like 8 damage here, my opponent is on 1, so yeah. That is game 1 against Blackburn, so let's check out game 2. Okay, similar to before, again I want to bring in the Flare of Denial. You can see just how important was this card in this build. It was my main sideboard card in this entire league, and in this case I just used it instead of a Flare of Malice. A really clean swap. Okay, opponent actually played a Serrated Scorpion in this build as another life gain drainer. They also had a Flare of Malice, which is interesting. Killing my Satoru, continue draining with a Scorpion. I play another Satoru and hold Not Dead After All here. Okay, opponent starts pumping the energy with Gaunty Machinations. Try to kill my Satoru, but I have Undying spell. Okay, so I draw into another Phyrexian Tower, and my opponent puts me down on 12. Okay, so here I go for the Sneaky Snacker. Continue attacking my opponent and holding the Bowmasters. Opponent puts me down on 10. That is pretty low with 2 Gaunty Machinations on the field. This means I'm on 4 life total. So I go for the Bowmaster here and yeah, decide to just kill this guy, and this means any burn spell basically kills me. It is what it is, so I go for the champion here. This card, yeah, I should have played this a bit differently. I should have like sacked the Snacker and then with Phyrexian Tower, then play the champion of Wits with that mana and bring back the Snacker, triggering Satoru. Maybe I would draw into Flare of Malice and I would still have a mana open to play Orcish Bowmaster, but that didn't matter. Opponent draws into the burn spell, and yeah, that is the game. Okay, so game 3 I keep Greavescam, of course. Greavescam is always like broken, and is one of the reasons why this deck is good, because it plays Greavescam in a very efficient DIMIR shell that can really use the new card Nightmare and the Satoru, which can be incredible draw engine, very efficient. Okay, so here I go for a 6 and I have lethal next turn. Opponent concedes. That is very quick win in match 3, and both of my losses were against Ruby Storm, and it was incredible showing by deck. In both matches my opponent killed me on turn 2 and turn 3, which is just pretty disgusting. So I will show only one of these matches because they were basically like the same. Okay, so I go for the Psychic Frog. Psychic Frog is hard to kill with a red color. Dodging the bolt, you can just discard cards to grow it. Opponent goes for Vren Resolve and passes the turn. Okay, so it seemed like they have a slower hand. Okay, so this is incredibly cool. Like, it's just amazing. So I discard Sneaky Snacker and the Bloodghast on the frog, and then I play the Satoru, play the land, trigger the Bloodghast, draw a card, then attack with Psychic Frog, and then draw a card triggering the Sneaky Snacker, which enters the battlefield, triggering Satoru, drawing another card. That is like 4 cards drawn this turn from nothing. It's like really amazing turn, but unfortunately to win this game I needed Grief. If I had Grief this game I would be able to like do a lot, and yeah. I did a mistake here. I should have just went for the Nightmare and started doing Nightmare things. If I'd done that, I think I would probably win. Okay, opponent was able to kill my Satoru. I still have a frog here, and I have a Nightmare. Okay, so I don't know what is this, but what happened here is I just played Bogart Traveler to exile their graveyard. I thought maybe by exiling their graveyard I will stop them from using Past in Flames, but that was bad decision. I should have went for the Nightmare, sacking Bloodghast, getting Satoru, drawing card, then dealing damage with Psychic Frog, drawing a card, bringing back a Snacker, drawing a third card, and I checked the top of my library. I had Grief on top, third card from the top, which means I would be able to Grief, Scam, take all cards in their hand basically, and that would win me the game. But just playing the Bogart Traveler was pretty bad play here, so yeah, I lost because of that. And yeah, that is it. Let's check out game 2. In game 2 I have pretty good sideboard for the matchup. I have Doughty Voidwalkers, as you can see here. Doughty Voidwalkers, Flares of Flare of Denials, both pretty good cards. Also like Bowmasters can deal a lot of damage if they're replaying Monomorphos a lot of time, but other than that I'm relying on the Grief Scam and the Flare and the Doughty. So my thought here was there's just no way they're killing me on turn 2, right? So I'm going to play the Frog, and then I'm going to play a Voidwalker on turn 3, because there's just no way they kill me on turn 2, right? But my opponent ended up having a hand with 5 rituals. 5 rituals, that is like extremely sick, and they had exactly mana to wish for Past into Flames and replay their entire graveyard again, wishing for a Grape Shot for turn 2 kill. Sorry, not Grape Shot, but Empty Devourance. So it's not actually turn 2 kill. They had 16 Storm, so it would be 70 damage, but they went for Empty Devourance, which was more than enough to finish this game. So that is it. Turn 2 Storm by my opponent. I had Doughty Voidwalker to stop it, so it was my mistake, but I was counting like there's just no way they're doing it on turn 2. This deck usually does it on turn 3, but it's quite possible, as you can see here, to do it on turn 2, so you have to be really careful against Ruby Storm. Okay, so the last match was also against Ruby Storm. I lost 2-1 this one, and it was pretty similar. One match I lost on turn 3, second one I lost again on turn 2, so it was pretty crazy showing by Ruby Storm. And this deck in this version has cards to beat this matchup, like 4 Flare, 4 Doughty. This is a lot. Also like Subtlety can be helpful. better than some other cards, I guess, to stop the RAL and whatever. But yeah, Ruby Storm can really get crazy wins when they're doing well, and there's just nothing I could do about it except play that Voidwalker on that turn. Completely my mistake. I was just greedy, playing Frog, trying to draw into more, start drawing sooner into more cards, and yeah, that costed me the match in this last one probably. Okay, so that is it. Hope you liked the video, hope you liked the gameplay. The sneaky snackers are just incredible addition to this build with Satoru and Psychic Frog. Works so well with both of these cards, which are like the main engines of this build. Also like great with Nightmare, because it's a creature you can always just sack and count on it coming back on the next turn, triggering Satoru again. It's phenomenal. And Champion of Wits works so well with the snacker, immediately bringing it back. It's a really nice nightmare target for this deck. To have something like this in the graveyard, then cycling cards from your hand, finding those you need. Also the cool thing that Champion of Wits works so well with Not Dead After All. That's another neat thing about it. So if you're not dead after all the champion, it comes back as a 3/2, so it actually draws you 3 cards and you discard 2. Pretty cool. I really love it. Love this build. The sideboard has answers to basically anything, and yeah, that's it. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching and goodbye.